Alright, you guys, so I believe that I am live right now. Let me know if you can hear me and see me in the comments, as what I have up on the screen currently is a map that is showing the various cities in the United States that they're saying could be hit here with nuclear attacks. Now, these are the cities that are high on the list, and I'm going to be sharing with you the latest information coming out on this list. This map that you are seeing right now. But before I dive in, let me know in the comments if you can hear me and see me okay. I am streaming from a different location than I'm typically at. Okay, and I'm seeing the comments coming in that people are saying, yes, they can see me and hear me well. Excellent. All right, so I'm going to dive into this. And this is coming out. It's saying it's a frightening map that shows areas of the U.S. most likely to be targeted in nuclear war as World War III tensions rise. This is coming out in the last 24 hours. America could be hit in a nuclear war as Russia's invasion of Ukraine and other conflicts continue around the world. The map shows the places most likely to be targeted in a nuclear attack on the United States. So like I said, I'm going to be diving into the details of this, letting you guys know exactly what it is that they are saying so you know. And do me a favor. I see we've got about 1,000 people on with me live. Please hit that like button if you appreciate the updates. Subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. If this is your first time here, I will keep you up to speed on everything. I cite all the sources, put it on the screen whenever I can, so that way you can go ahead and know the latest. And let me know if you can still hear me and see me okay. I'm getting notifications that there could be YouTube errors. So if you have any issues, please let me know in the comments so I can respond right away. Now, in addition to that, also, resources available for you guys. I've not been on for a while. As you guys know, we were hit by the hurricane. And so Houston right now, some of the streets in the city where I live are totally flooded. You can't get gas. Nobody has power. We're unable to just live. It is super hot over there, and we're all just trying to do our best to stay together, stay, safe. And so I decided to keep the family safe as much as I could. So we got some gas, got out of the city, and we are out in Dallas right now. So I am streaming to you from a hotel to share with you guys the latest. And man, there has been a lot unfolding, and I wanted to get you guys the latest on this. But I say that to say this. One of the things that has just been on an incredible shortage right now in the city of Houston is gas. There is not gas available. Had to wait in lines over an hour just to get gas to try to drive out of the city. So added to the stockpile list. Should things hit? Should we see things get worse with potential World War III nuclear war and some of the things I'm going to be discussing in this video, I have added the highest rated gas storage gas tank for you, a 2-gallon tank, just in the description for you on the stockpile list. It's the first one. It's affordable, it's small, it's simple. You can get other sizes if you like, but I just wanted to put that there as an additional resource. It is very important because just even this hurricane that just hit in Houston, we were waiting in lines for hours, and you don't want to be short on gas. Literally every gas station we went to, they were out of gas. People were sitting there in their cars stranded. It was terrible. It was very sad to see so many people that could not go anywhere. They ran out of gas and they're all just sitting, sleeping in their cars at the gas stations. You don't want to be in that situation. Get yourself some extra gas tanks. Use the link in the description. Order some on Amazon. Have them directly sent to you so that way you can be ready. I always say here on the channel, don't be scared. Be prepared. Trying to provide as many resources for everybody here on the channel as possible. So those are available for you, along with the newsletter as well, steveramnews.com. In addition to that, also, if you or somebody you love needs meds, there's the med kits, and also the guide for electrical grid failures as well. Everything to think about on that. And also, Rosa B, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. That is awesome. I appreciate that a ton. You rock. I will continue to keep you up to date on everything. And again, I see we've got about 1,631 people on with me live. Please hit that like button. It just helps spread this out further so people can see this map that I'm going to be sharing with you the details on. And again, this is the map That is a frightening map. This was released by CBS. You can see in the corner that shows the areas of the United States most likely to be targeted in this nuclear war as World War III tensions rise. And as always, this is linked in the description down below for you. I cite all the sources. This has come out in the last 24 hours. Now, in addition to that, I'm also going to be referencing that we're hearing Russia is blaming the war on NATO as it pounds Ukraine, demands territory for talks. Now, I had just shared with you, former President Donald Trump had said in the debates that he would end the war before he even became president, as president-elect, that he would end the war and he would have a peace talk between Russia and Ukraine. Both presidents from both sides said, if you have a plan to let us know, we are willing and take very seriously talks with Trump. But we're also hearing simultaneously right now, President Joe Biden is saying that he is going to be sending over more funding to Ukraine. And as you can see, tensions are rising. So we're hearing that under former President Donald Trump, essentially World War III would be canceled. But the reality is that right now, with the way things currently are, we're just seeing tensions increasing and rising. So I'm going to make sure to get you guys the latest on this. But let's go ahead and take a look at this map. And as you can see, this map right here is showing you all the various areas. And there are some that are just absolutely saturated with purple and black, where they're saying are primary targets to be hit on this. So let me share with you what exactly it is that this is saying now. Now, this article says, the threat of nuclear war looms over parts of America as Russia's invasion of Ukraine and other global conflicts persist. This map has been released, showing the areas most likely to be targeted in a nuclear attack on U.S. soil, highlighting potential targets in every American state, predominantly in the east, but also along the California coast, as shown in this frightening map. Montana and North Dakota are suggested as key targets due to their numerous nuclear weapons and launch sites. So Montana and North Dakota, they're saying, are primary targets so they can take out our nuclear stockpile and our launch sites as well. With Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the Israel-Hamas war, fears of World War III are escalating with those in addition to Russia and Ukraine. Warnings have been issued to Russians that nuclear war is now inevitable, putting millions at risk. If nuclear war breaks out in Russia or with China, hundreds of millions could lose their lives in minutes. Now, in this map, you see that in the west, Colorado, Montana, North Dakota, and Wyoming, they have many targets marked on the map, including active nuclear power plants. So these are primary targets. So not just wanting to wreak havoc on the nation, but also strategically taking out our areas where we could launch our missiles and hit our stockpiles. There are approximately 90 of these across the United States, located in states such as Alabama, Arizona, Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee, according to Mirror US. Areas like rural Idaho, Maine, Northern California, and Oregon might be a little bit safer. The U.S. has strategically placed its nuclear forces in sparsely populated areas to minimize damage in the event of an attack, according to reports. Now, intercontinental ballistic missile silos, military bases, and locations where nuclear weapons are stored are dispersed throughout the United States. Some of the key locations that could be at risk include operational nuclear power stations, with around 90 such facilities scattered across the U.S. in states like Alabama, Arizona, Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee. Other potential targets might encompass missile silos, military installations, and nuclear weapon storage sites. The map in question first appeared in a CBS article and citing sources such as FEMA, Medicine and Global Survival, National Resource Defense Councils, and other information. Now, however, listen to this. FEMA says that they are distancing themselves from this map. So FEMA is saying that they're not declaring this as an official site or official map. Spokesperson for FEMA stated that FEMA does not and has not and will not release any type of formal map on potential nuclear targets. However, FEMA provides information to the public to help them prepare for potential hazardous radiological events through ready.gov. So also, prepared readiness will be at ready.gov. Now, FEMA is saying that this is not their official map, but CBS has released this. CBS News has this map of major cities that should be on the lookout. Major cities like New York, Chicago, Houston, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., they are often considered prime targets due to their economic significance, dense populations, and concentrations of government infrastructure. Other cities that could face risks include Dallas, Fort Worth, Miami, and Philadelphia. So those are some of the cities that are major cities that could be hit, they're saying. And again, those are New York, Chicago, Houston, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., Dallas, Miami, Philadelphia. Vladimir Putin has declared that Russia will not strike NATO members, but has issued a warning that Ukraine's U.S. supplied fighter jets constitute legitimate targets. Putin is also reportedly planning to have ISIS militants have their lives ended at point-blank range. However, regions such as Idaho, Maine, Northern California, and Oregon may not be as high on the target list. The U.S. has leveled accusations against Russia for allegedly breaching the last standing nuclear arms treaty between the two superpowers, claims which Russia has robustly denied, countering that it's the U.S. who has not been adhering to the agreements. So Russia blaming the United States blaming Russia. Tensions have escalated when Russian President Putin made veiled threats of deploying nuclear weapons beyond Ukraine's borders in late 2022. He accused Western nations of engaging in nuclear blackmail and cautioned the United States and Europe about Russia's arsenal, stating, "To defend Russia and our people, we doubtlessly will use all weapons, resources at our disposal," and emphasized this is not a bluff. Adding to the international unease, last December Putin hinted at a possible shift in Russia's nuclear deterrent policy, which traditionally has been one of no first use. During a press briefing, he contrasted Russia's stance with that of the U.S., saying they have it in their strategy, in their documents, it is spelled out, a preventative blow. We don't. We, on the other hand, have formulated retaliatory strikes in our strategy, as reported by CNN, highlighting the differing military doctrines of the two nations. So there you have it, Russia saying that they are wanting to change their nuclear doctrines. I've shared this here on the channel several times, and we're hearing that this is likely something that they're going to do. I don't know. We're hearing that they're reviewing it as we speak. Not sure if it's official or not, but they're saying that they want to do escalate to de-escalate, which essentially would mean that if they think that there could be nuclear war or their sovereignty is threatened, that they would be willing to do this so that way they could stop it, to escalate and heighten the situation against an adversary in order to de-escalate potential nuclear war. Broden Skinner, thank you for the $10 super chat. Says good reporting, Steve. Appreciate that support a ton. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, and also for all the channel members that hit that join button and contribute monthly, donating to the channel. Not necessary, but greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much for that. You are awesome. Now, in addition to that, as I mentioned, we had heard that former President Donald Trump had said that he would be putting an end to this, essentially stopping World War III. But we're also hearing that at this time, more is going out towards supporting the war in Ukraine. I think it was $2.3 billion signed over by Biden to go out. So it looks like things are just progressing. And now these updates in the last 24 hours that basically tensions are rising with potentially more attacks, World War III, and now articles coming out like this, sharing this map of potential cities to be hit with nuclear attacks. The Sugar, thank you for the $2 super chat. You're back. What is going on now? Thank you for that, Sugar. Yes, we have been offline for a while now with everything going on with the flooding in Houston. However, I am back sharing with you that things are just intensifying. Now, we had heard, like I said, that Trump said that he could cancel World War III if he's elected. And we heard that Ukraine and Russia both said, their presidents, let us know the plan. We take this very seriously coming from Trump. But right now, we're hearing that things are just intensifying. So wanted to share this with you guys, and also the additional resources linked in the description, the stockpile list. As I mentioned, I just added a extra gas container on there because if this takes out, say, gas stations, you're going to want some extra gas handy. You're going to want it ahead of time not when the craze is going on. It has been nuts just trying to get out of the city of Houston, trying to get to Dallas, where they weren't hit with the hurricane, which is why I've been offline for a while. We've had no power, no gas, and it has been extremely hot. And just trying to make sure that I can just take care of the family the past couple of days. But I've been keeping an eye on the news, and things have been just absolutely getting nuts. Now, also, let me see here. So this coming out, as I mentioned, linked in the description below. Also, Russia is blaming NATO as it pounds Ukraine, and it's demanding territories for talks. Moscow tells the world that it is open to talks if Kiev cedes territories to Russia, as Russia has invaded, and as NATO summit kicks off in the United States. Now, also, I saw that President Joe Biden actually addressed NATO in a speech not too long ago. I believe it was in the last 24 hours. If it wasn't today, it might have been yesterday. We already heard Nancy Pelosi respond to that. She was on the news for that today as well. But it says the Hungarian Prime Minister, Viktor Orban, has pressed on with his shuttle diplomacy to achieve a ceasefire in Ukraine, visiting Beijing on Monday after passing through Kiev and Moscow. Ukrainian allies, NATO, and the European Union, they disavowed the mission, saying Orban was not undertaking an initiative on their behalf. Russia, after initially dismissing Orban's efforts, said that it could prove very valuable. He has shown his political will for a dialogue. We take it very, very positively. We believe it can be very successful, the Kremlin said, with spokesperson Dmitry Peskov on Monday. That marked a change from their initial assessment. So they're trying to strive to make efforts to cease fire, they're saying. However, at the same time, they're saying that they want them to give over land. That is just not something that is going to happen. And as I mentioned, now we've got this list coming out of the cities on here, and you can see on this map, absolutely incredible what is on here. Jesus is my rock. Thank you for the $5 super chat. The praying for you and your family, Steve. What does the squares mean? What does the squares mean? So the squares, those black areas, are the military bases, they're saying, are the primary targets. So on there, they're saying that these are the ones that would likely get hit because they want to hit our stockpiles and also our launch sites. So on there, you can see that that is where they would likely hit, is those areas for sure. And then the purple are the cities at high risk as well. And let's see here. So you can see all on this map, all along the East Coast. It is absolutely incredible. All on the east, they're saying is primary targets. You can see down to Florida. You got like Miami. All on the inside there. What is that? Tampa, Orlando. All on the East Coast in the top. New York, major cities. Chicago, absolutely incredible. All of the areas that they're saying could be hit. Texas. What do they call that? The triangle there looks like Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, some on Austin, and you can see Southern California and Northern California, or Central California, in there by Sacramento, San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, just absolutely full of all of these areas where it could be hit. And up in the top left, you can see Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon. They are on the list as well. So, yeah. This is the map that they're sharing. This has come out in the last hour, or in the last 24 hours from this article giving an update. And again, this map had come out from CBS saying that if there was a nuclear attack, this is where they would target here in the United States. So, pretty incredible news, and yeah, it's not dying down. So I know that we had heard former President Donald Trump saying that he could cancel it, but right now Trump is not the president, and so right now we're hearing things are just escalating. Now, let me know your thoughts. Would you like to see Trump as the president? Do you think that he is going to be the president? If you think so and you would like to see that, put a 45 in the comments. If you'd like to see Biden, put a 46. And if somebody else put a 47, let me know your thoughts on this. How do you think that would unfold? Who do you think would do a better job at this? Bullets and Gasoline, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, just curious who made or where did they get these maps from? If you mentioned this already, I apologize. No worries. And for those of you coming on a little bit later, again, this map was released. This is being sourced, as you can see in the bottom left corner, from CBS News. Now, I mentioned too that this article says that CBS News released this, and it didn't give much further information other than that this was data that was provided by them. And just to clarify, this is, as far as I'm seeing, not an official map. However, I don't see anything that I disagree with this map on. Let me know if you agree with this map. If you agree with this map and you think that this is fairly accurate as to where they would probably hit, put a 1. If you disagree, put a 2. But just to clarify, FEMA came out and they said, we do not associate ourselves with this map. This map right here, this is speculation from CBS. So they said this is not official. And they said that they will not, FEMA said they will not, they have never released a map. So take it with what you will. But this coming out in the last 24 hours. Bullets and Gun, thank you for the $5 super chat saying, right when I said the question, you answered me. Well, ignore me. No worries on that. Happy to give as much clarification as I can. Want to make sure that people just have the latest information. And I'm seeing a lot of 1s, a lot of people saying they agree. I'm seeing a couple 2s, people saying that they don't necessarily agree with this information. And yeah, and that's the thing, is that, so this was released, and I wanted to share this map, and you can go ahead and take it for what you will. Again, they're saying that this is not an official map. FEMA is saying that they are not releasing this as an emergency map. However, this coming out from CBS News, and they're saying that this is likely the areas. And again, those giant black blobs in the center is where they're saying we have our nuclear stockpiles, our military bases, our launch sites. So those would be primary targets, and then after that, likely major cities where they could wreak havoc on the United States. And I'm seeing a lot of 1s, a lot of people saying that they agree with this. Thank you for the gifting of the memberships. I appreciate that a ton, and welcome to the Ram Fam. Thank you for supporting monthly with those donations. Not necessary, but greatly appreciated. And as a result, after this, all of those of you that are members of the Ram Fam that have joined, hitting the join button, becoming a part of the community, you will see the sources pop up in your YouTube feed. And for everybody else that is not a part of it, it's totally okay. You'll still get the sources. They will be in the description, and also along with other resources to help you and your family as well. Glenn says, Steve, I hope that you and your family are well and safe. Thank you so much for that, Glenn. I appreciate that a ton. You are awesome. He says, you have to realize that all of these would not be one strike. It would be multiple waves. It says, Koya. Yeah, and that's the thing, too. Let me know your thoughts on that. As you can see that some of them are just riddled with purple, that they would just be hit over and over and over. And I actually was having a conversation with somebody recently. They asked me today. Actually, I was out to lunch with somebody today, and they asked me, what's your take on this? What are your thoughts on a potential nuclear attack against the U.S. or an EMP strike? What do you think, Steve? And I let them know, like, listen, let's say like Russia, for example, launching a nuclear attack against us or releasing an EMP. It's not just going to be like they're going to launch it. This is strategic war, so it's going to be several layers to this. It's not just going to be a launch, because if they did, we would detect it, we would stop it, we would fire back, or there would be issues. It would be all-out war. It would not be very wise to do something along those lines. What would essentially need to happen, and likely what would unfold, would be us seeing a series of events that would lead us to knowing that this was going to take place. And what that would be is we would see likely first our satellites in space that detect missiles, our anti-missile satellites, would have to go down, which is why there was so much concern about Russia launching some sort of nuclear device that would take out missile detecting satellites, because that is step one. First, they would take those out. The next thing is taking into consideration the placement of these nuclear weapons. They can't simply launch them. Most of our defenses are going out from the east and the west, anticipating those attacks. So that is why it is so important that we recently saw that Russian fleet down in Cuba, because where is the United States the weakest? Where are we the most susceptible? It is to the south. It is in the Gulf Coast. If missiles were to come up from the south, we do not have as much defenses in those southern areas to stop that. So they would likely come from the south. So if there was to be an EMP blast or some sort of attack, it would likely be our weakest point. Then after that were to unfold, then if Russia wanted, then they could start launching waves of those nuclear missiles into these various cities, likely hitting, as they mentioned, our stockpile locations, military bases, our launch sites, trying to cripple us from being able to respond. And then after that, likely hitting major cities. So it would be a various uh, uh, phased attack that would come in waves, and it would need to be orchestrated perfectly in order for them to pull that off and not have us hit them back. Koya says an EMP is more likely. It only takes 3 detonations to wipe out the grid. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, and here's the thing, is that they wouldn't even necessarily need to hit us with nuclear weapons if they got to that point where they were able to take down the satellites, position everything the way they needed, time it exactly where they could launch an EMP, they could hit us, wipe out our grids. We wouldn't even know who hit us, and that alone would wreak so much havoc on the United States. They wouldn't even need to drop nuclear missiles on us, because we would be in a serious situation if the grid went down. And that is why, as I mentioned here on the channel already several times and in this video, resources in the description. There's a free guide you can put in your email, so that way you can go ahead and see the steps we take into consideration, PDF emailed right to you if the power grid goes down, and those resources in the stockpile list as well. So that way, if that were to happen, you won't be caught off guard. You won't be scared. You will be prepared and ready. So, but yeah, this is the map coming out on this, and we're hearing that things are just intensifying right now. We will see what unfolds. I will keep you guys up to date on everything. And again, thank you guys for all the well wishes and the prayers for me and the family. We are doing well. We are out of the heat of Houston, and there's no power, there's no gas. It's pretty nutty. Some of the streets are flooded, and so we just had to get out. And so we're in Dallas, and I'm just keeping an eye on what's going on, so that way everybody knows what is taking place. And I appreciate all the support and the well wishes. You guys are awesome. But you guys, that is the latest. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you appreciate the updates, hit that like button, subscribe to stay up to date. I'll keep you up to speed on everything, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care. God bless.